Hey, it is September the 19th, 2025, I believe. And I wanted to holler at y'all real quick about a couple of things. First things first, I do want to acknowledge that on the video that I had posted previously in regards to a Tyler Robinson, in which I compared that man and his story to the story that of a Nicholas Cruz, who some people might remember from the Parkland incident years ago, taking place at a Marjorie Stoneman Douglas over in it was a high school named Marjorie Stoneman Douglas over there in Parkland, Florida, in which a whole bunch of people allegedly got murked. I believe that they got murked. I believe a lot of people got shot that day. Some people don't believe that happened, but I do. All right. I wanted to address the fact is that on the previous video, I drew attention to a coincidence of Tyler Robinson popping up, and this is after the incident over there in UVU with Charlie Kirk being assassinated, and then the supposed assassin pops up at a McDonald's. And it's just so happened to be a coincidence that Nicholas Cruz years ago, allegedly the perpetrator of that incident, he also popped up at a McDonald's. And might I also say he did also go to a Walmart. I believe it might have been a Subway inside of a Walmart, if I remember correctly. But he did go to a McDonald's as well after he perpetrated that incident, allegedly. All right. And I was pointing out the weird, odd coincidence, the supernatural coincidence that they both popped up on video camera inside of a McDonald's. Shout out to Luigi Mangione, who also, for some reason, went to a McDonald's. But I do want to draw attention now to the fact is that I don't, perhaps Tyler Robinson did not go to a McDonald's. Later on, I've been informed that it was not a McDonald's, is in fact a Dairy Queen. So, in a little kind of a sense of a way, that part of the coincidence that might not be true. It might not have been a McDonald's. It might have very well been a Dairy Queen. All right, and so without being too long-winded, that part of the coincidence might not be true. However, as I'm sure a lot of people could figure out on their own, it's still beyond odd. It still doesn't make any sense at all that you would be comfortably going to a Dairy Queen or a McDonald's, walking inside like, oh, no one's gonna you know what I'm saying? You would be far too nervous of getting caught to do any of those things. You know that there's cameras all in the McDonald's. You know that there's cameras all in the Dairy Queen. Why would you ever do that? The fact is, you would never do that. Nobody with the slightest bit of sense would ever do that. So let me point that out. That's just, that does not add up at all. It doesn't begin to add up. Just like those text messages between Tyler and his furry lady boyfriend, Lance. Nobody believes those things. Literally nobody. And with like a straight face, the FBI and Cash Patel and everybody's trying to say, oh yeah, this is what happened. Nobody fucking believes that, all right? I don't care what political side you're on, you do not believe that. Just like, for example, quick shout out to the Las Vegas shooting, that big mass shooting in Las Vegas. Literally not one person on earth believes that. Nobody believes the official story and how many people died during that incident. And the FBI and everyone else will tell you, oh, this is what happened. No, the fuck it didn't. And nobody believes it. So, there is the coincidence of both perpetrators, both Nicholas Cruz, Tyler Robinson, finding their way to a McDonald's. That might not be true. Could have been a Dairy Queen. That's what I heard from Cinema Shogun. All right. But unbelievable nonetheless. All right. Still outrageous. Still never happened. I mean, that factor alone would lead you to believe none of this ever happened. Plus, everything else, every other detail you're hearing about Tyler Robinson and what he did doesn't make any fucking sense. All right. But now that I got that out of the way, I do want to throw this out there. All right. And I'm about to like see what other people are saying. I haven't been really keeping up with it today as far as the developments, as far as the case with Tyler Robinson and his transferee boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm about to dive in and see what people are saying today about it. Okay, so let me say this. Netanyahu, as a lot of people already know, came out and fervently, multiple times, has fervently denied that he's had anything to do, or that the Israeli government has had anything to do with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. To the point is that it's absurd. All right. That to the point is it's very suspicious. Me think you doth protest too much. You're very suspicious. All right. I wanted to point that out. The thing is, me personally, as I've stated now, until we really get to the bottom of it, which I don't think will ever happen. I'm not saying I know what happened on the day in which Charlie Kirk got assassinated. I do not have a single clue who did what. All right. And shout out back to the Parkland incident. This many years later, I have no clue what happened at Parkland. What I find most interesting are the people who feel like they do have an idea. For the people who do know for sure that Tyler Robinson shot up Charlie Kirk the other day, you don't have any goddamn clue. And you're just filled up with so much hubris or laziness to where you think you have a clue, right? That being said, if I were to come out right now and say 100%, which a lot of people are, if I were to come out and say 100% that Netanyahu and the Israeli government are behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk, if I were to say that, I would be lying because I have no clue. I don't have any clue. So I'm not saying that at all. I have no clue. All right. I just want to get that out of the way, get that very well established, that I don't know that they had anything to do with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. All right. That being said, let me point this out. It's just such a coincidence. It's so mind-blowing that that the Israeli government is being suspected for possibly being behind the Charlie Kirk assassination. And for the people who have forgot, trust me, I have not forgot at all. For the people who have not forgot in regards to Parkland, Florida, Nicholas Cruz, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, that whole incident, it's such a weird, odd coincidence that for some reason or another, that entire incident was just completely surrounding Judaism as well. A lot of people don't even remember that. Oh, yeah, it's okay. So Judaism was a whole part of that incident as well. Why is it? How come Judaism has become very much a factor in both of these incidents? Why? And it really is mind-blowing because, for example, Nicholas Cruz allegedly shot up a whole bunch of people, and I don't know if maybe only one or two of them were actually Jewish. So that, I mean, that's what's mind-boggling, is that whole incident almost had nothing to do with Jewish people at all. And yet, and still, it's made to seem Nicholas Cruz was called anti-Semitic as well, and all that, and that he must have hated Jews and he was this Nazi and everything else. None of that was true. None of that was even close to being plausibly true. So I wanted to point out that coincidence. I'm not saying I know who did whatever. I don't know who carried out both of these just devilish schemes, organized. Here's what I can tell you, and what I said on the previous video. Absolutely, there was organization to it. Absolutely, 0%, -% was there a lone shooter in either one of these particular incidents. It's just not even possible. Do I know what happened? Am I claiming I know what happened? No, not at all. But do both of these incidents, for whatever reason, for no reason, have Judaism, more namely the country of Israel, being implicated in both of them for no reason? That is mad suspicious. That is mad suspicious. And then, as Candace Owens and everybody else has pointed out, it's mad suspicious. I'm not saying that y'all did it. What I am saying is that y'all assassinate people on the regular. This is what y'all do. Everybody knows y'all for doing this. So if we were to assume that you had nothing to do with either one of these incidents, these two incidents are the only things in which y'all are not implicated. As far as assassinations, that's what y'all do. That's your bread and butter. These would be the only incidents in which y'all had nothing to do with it. So maybe y'all did have nothing to do with it. Y'all have everything to do with every other assassination that takes place all over the place. So what the hell's the deal with that? And I'll finish by saying that obviously we should look into Israel, obviously, because y'all just happen to be masters of assassination. And when I say that, I don't mean the Israeli people. Lord knows the Israeli people are just as helpless. And they don't have the people of the country of Israel have no power over me or anybody else. They don't have power over themselves. They were also experimented on with COVID vaccines. They were experimental lab rats. Netanyahu bragged about the fact is that he put everybody under experimental lab rat situations over there in Israel. He doesn't give a damn about them. He does not give a damn about his own so-called people. So to turn around and say everybody in Israel, they're all clamoring together and plotting on assassinating various figures throughout the United States of America, that's preposterous. All right. And let me finish off by saying that there's plenty of people, especially young people, but people of all ages, who are making absolute fools of themselves, not because they're dumb, it's because they are spiritually slaves to Satan. There's no other way around it. But especially young people of college age, whether or not they're in college, running around talking about Palestine. God bless you. Talk about Palestine as much as you want. But most of y'all fucking retarded. All right. And it's not because you're not smart enough to think. It's because you are spiritually lost and you worship Satan. And you might take offense by me saying that. I know you'll take offense by anything. If I tell you the truth, you'll take offense to it. All right. You are lost. You are ran by Satan. And I'll give you an example. So anybody showing up to, and it's happened in San Antonio and it's happened in everywhere else across the country. If you're showing up to Charlie Kirk vigils, in which people are mourning the loss of Charlie Kirk respectfully to themselves, not bothering anybody, and you're showing up with Palestine protests, Palestine flags, and this and that, saying, for example, that Charlie Kirk was complicit in the slaughter of the Palestinian people. Even though you're not going to believe me, I want to be on record by saying you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You are very dumb. You're dumb on purpose. You worship Satan. And hopefully, I hope everybody repents and find. I hope that I can repent from all of my dumb ways, my dumb ways. All right, I'm telling you, you're dumb as hell. You're meaning to be dumb, because if I told you right now that all you had to do was listen to Candace Owens, who knew Charlie Kirk. All you had to do is listen to Tucker Carlson. You hate their guts. You want them to die. You want them to be shot dead in the street. And that way, somehow you're going to have a victory, some sort of victory over conservatives. Because you're lost. You worship Satan. But if you were to listen to Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, plenty of other people, they'll tell you quite plainly, Charlie Kirk, for example, as an individual, he's not complicit in the slaughter of the Palestinian people. You think he is because that's what you've heard? Because you're ran by Satan. If you only listen to Charlie Kirk, if you had only listened to Candace Owens or any of the people who know Charlie Kirk, you would know what you're saying is the exact opposite of reality. The exact opposite. But you don't want to find out. You'll rather kill people. You'd rather shoot people. You'd rather shoot your own mother than to find out that you're actually exactly wrong about it. That is the exact opposite of what you think it is. And by God, you'll never fucking do your research, because you'd find out you are 180 incorrect about this entire thing. And it blows my mind. But you worship Satan, and I hope you repent. Jesus Christ is King. He's the only way. And you hate that. You hate me because of that. And as much as you'd hate me, as much as you hate Charlie, as much as you'd hate any Christian that you find, you hate Christ the most. You hate God the most. And there's nothing I could do to help you about that. All right. But that's where we find ourselves at. And it's not going to end well. And I wish everybody the best in a very long life. I'll never offensively attack any of y'all, because I hope that you live long enough to repent and come to Jesus. He is King forever and ever. But y'all are slipping and tripping, and you're using any excuse. You know, it's funny that you say that the Israeli government is saying, "Oh, we're gonna kill all the Palestinian women and children." Why? Because Hamas is hiding behind them, right? And so they use that as an excuse to slaughter all of Palestinians one by one. That's what they're doing right now. You are also doing the same thing. You're doing the exact same thing. All the Palestinian protesters are so retarded. You're doing the exact same thing as Netanyahu. You are doing the exact same thing as Netanyahu right now. All y'all who run around with your Palestinian flags calling for the murder of this, that, and the other, you want to murder everybody, especially Christians? Y'all are doing the exact thing that Netanyahu is doing by saying, oh, Hamas is hiding under hospitals, Hamas is hiding under children's daycares, and this is why we got to kill all the women and children in Palestine. Y'all are doing the same exact thing by coming up to vigils for Charlie Kirk and saying, we want all y'all dead and all y'all Christians dead. Why? Because the Palestinians, the children and the women, you're using them as shields. You're using the dead Palestinian women and children as shields so that you can worship Satan and carry out the will of Satan and call for the death of anybody. Why? Because of some people who are slaughtered over here who you have nothing to do with. You don't know these people. It's a goddamn travesty that it's an abomination what's happening to these people. You're hiding behind them so that you can freely come out in the public, worship Satan, act like a demon, and you're hiding behind them. You're doing the same thing Netanyahu's doing. Anyways, it's September the 19th, 2020, 2025.